Hello. Hi, you guys. How are you? I have to let Facebook alert you, let you know I'm here, and then say hello again. So, hello from Laleh Hancock, and I'm in the DC area again. Just came home last night from an amazing 4 days in New York. What do you need? What do you require? What do you desire? And why aren't you getting it? With Gary Douglas. And I've taken probably hundreds of access classes in the last 6 years, and every single one is life-changing, and just so much awareness, and so much is more possible after each of these, because it's about you taking away anything that you're hiding from you, opening it up and allowing you to actually use it to your advantage. And we talked about everything there is to talk about. We talked about businesses. We talked about our lives, our personal lives, and expanding our relationships. We talked about bodies and health and illness. We talked about money, having more money, generating more money, creating more money. And it's interesting, like every topic got talked about, but in this class, it was different. I know my level of receiving was different, especially after the Choice of Possibilities in DC just a few days earlier, and the leadership call that Gary did about all of us. You know, every single one of us knows something. We know a lot. We have a lot that we're aware of, and a lot of gifts. And it's funny, it's like we don't always want to know what we know, because then we might not fit in with our friends, our family, our coworkers, or the people that we interact with on a daily basis. And I know it sounds crazy, but we do it. And I know that I've done it. And as much as I think I'm not doing it, I realize all the places that I am doing it. And what it opened up for me is interesting point of view. Like these words that we've been talking about in Access for a very long time, like when you have a point of view, when you have an opinion, when you have a decision that you've made or a conclusion, what you're actually doing is you're putting whatever you think it has to be into a box. You're like limiting anything from that. So all the awareness you can have, all the possibilities you could be aware of, you kind of like push it away because it doesn't match the decisions, the judgments, the conclusions that you have made. Now, a lot of times, all those things, you didn't even make them. You learn them. You learn from your family, friends, colleagues, society, TV, whatever, advertisements. Like we learned these habits. We learned these conclusions instead of, what do I know in this area? And it is like we were talking a lot about, people and their capacities about money. And so many people think, oh, I don't have any money in my bank account. I don't have any capacities with money. But isn't it funny? Like the things that we think we're really not good at, what if that's actually one of your greatest gifts that you're just denying? And in reality, you're using all your energy to make sure that you're not great at all those things you know. So with this conversation came about bodies. You guys know how much I love bodies. My body's been so kind to me. And so, what I wanted to open the doors with is like, what if the information your body is sharing with you every day isn't about you doing something? It's funny. I remember like even being very young, and I would know, like from a little sore throat in my throat, I would know like I'm about to get sick. And now I realize like what was it that actually I was avoiding, or what was I sick of that was creating the sickness? But back then it was this communion with my body. It was this communication. And I would say our bodies communicate with us, and they have these voices, but they don't speak to us the way you think they're communicating and speaking to you. And most of the information that they're sharing with you is about you and the world. And a lot of times it's not like anything is required from you, but more about you stepping up and realizing, I have this awareness, I have this brilliance, I have this gift, I have this talent. And I wonder, like, this word, interesting point of view, when you're just willing to say it 10 times, it could change the energy of anything that's going on, the stress in your life, the confusion. If there's something going on, like on a project, you don't really know where to go with it. Just by saying interesting point of view 10 times, you just open it up so there is more clarity. But one thing I got this weekend from Gary is that most of us, like, once we start to acknowledge the gifts and talents we have, we're so ready to go out there and share it with everyone. We're ready to tell everyone all the ways they can heal themselves, all the ways they can have growing businesses, the way that they can have happier bodies, they can have all these things, because now we're aware of all these possibilities that are available. But one thing we don't consider is, what are they ready to hear right now? What are they ready to receive right now? And for me, it's been a tough one because I'm in the business of wellness, health and wellness in all parts of your life, whether it's your relationships, it's your business, your finances, your body, whatever. And here I'm actually experiencing the last 10, 12 days of what my husband's choosing as totally different than what I would agree or desire for him to be choosing. An interesting point of view came about a lot. And our willingness to not make ourselves wrong because other people aren't choosing what we think would be best for them. You know, it's funny, like I talk about your body's talking to you, but like, how many other people's bodies are talking to you? I don't have to be home, but Peter's body's talking to me. Mariah and Brianna's bodies are talking to me. My mom's body's talking to me. My sister's bodies are talking to me. But so are millions of people's bodies around the world. So it's not just about you and your body, but it's this communication, this information, this awareness that you and your body are communicating with each other. And the first tool, you know, is, who does it belong to? But also, wow, if I was willing to be interesting point of view with this intensity, with this pain, with this whatever is going on, the stress, what else would I be aware of? What other choices would I have available to me? What other choices would be available for me to be, do, choose, and have? And I realized, so the day before I started to host Gary in DC, which was probably like one of the most exciting moments for me. You know, I was hosting him for Choice of Possibilities, and we were having this Leaders of the Future class that had over 6,000 people part of it. And it keeps growing. Is the time when my husband came home on a red-eye flight, and he said he was throwing up on the airplane, you know? And so I had to ask, like, what do I do? What can I be? What can I offer? What can I create here? And I realized, like, it wasn't about me not going, but it was about me being willing to contribute to him and his body and what he desired and what he required. Now, he's amazing. He's one of the most amazing people I've met on this planet so far. But I do see how different we are in the way we communicate with our bodies. Turns out it wasn't food poisoning. He thought it was kidney stones. It wasn't kidney stones. We're still not sure what's going on. He has other stuff he's dealing with. But it's almost like he's also not letting me help. And that's where I realized I have to be an interesting point of view. I have to be willing to listen to the voice of his body. I have to be willing to listen to the voice of my body. And I also have to be an interesting point of view the whole time. Because I may be able to just put my hands on him and he may feel better. But if he's not the one choosing whatever it is that could be offered here, he's not going to receive it. And I see so many of us, it is that. We think, oh my God, we've got the answer. We know we have the bars. We got body processes. We got SOP. We got all these different energies. We've got all these different questions and tools that we can ask. Yes, you can, for you. And when you're willing to be it for you, you are that contribution on the planet. You are being you, changing the world. But it has to be from no point of view that anyone else has to accept it or has to receive it or has to have it. And when you give that space of possibility, you can be the contribution of putting that energy on the world, and whoever requires it, whatever bodies require it, they will receive it, even if it's later. And, you know, sometimes the hardest is the ones we love the most. And I realize this with my mom and my sisters too, how much I love and adore them. It is. It's like we are all our own individual beings. And we have to choose whatever is going to work for us, not because somebody else asked you to. I can ask, you know, I can say, okay, if you do this, this, and this, and this problem is going to go away. But guess what? If I'm the one telling you and you're not desiring to even receive it, what you're going to do is hate me for it. You're going to resist the energy. So anything that could have been a contribution, you're just going to close the doors, put the box around you, and push it away. And that happens too. So, I don't know. I just wanted to just come back and talk about interesting point of view, because what you're doing is you're allowing you not to say something is good or bad or right and wrong. And instead, you're being this neutral space of possibilities, this neutral space of healing, this neutral space of a question. And it doesn't even have to be that what you think is appropriate for them, but by you not judging them, that what they're choosing is right or wrong or good or bad, you're actually allowing them to come up with what's going to work for them. What is going to be the thing that's going to help them feel better, make their nausea go away, make their pain in their bodies go away, or make their businesses thrive, or make them have a different kind of relationship. But it starts with each of us. It starts with the person. And this is what I learned. I used to say I want to help people. I said I came in this planet to help others. And I realized that was so not what I came here to do. I came on this planet to bring more consciousness and to empower people to choose what's going to work for them. Yes, I have tools. Yes, I have my knowing. Yes, I have my strength. Yes, I have my potency and capacities and abilities. And I can share information. And ultimately, it's that person, it's those people, it's that business that they have to choose what's going to work for them. So I know for us, it's so easy. We want to get mad because we know, like, if someone were willing to have a glass of water, it would solve their problem. But guess what? That's not being interesting point of view. What you can be is be that space of neutralness that actually allows the greatest abilities, capacities, talents, and awareness. And I love that about Gary Douglas, and I love that about Dr. Danier, and they've been such a great, I don't want to say role model, because that's not what they want to be known for, but they've been such great leaders. And not just talking about it, but showing it. And their level of vulnerability, they're not perfect, and they will tell you they're not perfect, and they share their stuff with us to show they're not perfect. But it's different. They're willing to ask questions. So with your body, are you willing to ask questions? With the intensity, are you willing to ask questions? With the curiosity, are you willing to ask questions? With the joy, are you willing to be the questions? Like, it's like these moments. I actually have a couple of things coming up this week, and it's so funny. I actually have a 7-day poll about relationship. And we were talking about what's relationship? Well, in this reality, it's the distance between two things. But it's that relationship with you. It's like that communication, that communion with you and your body and your loved ones and your kids and family and whatever else, and your business and your projects, creations, classes, and with your bank account. And it just keeps going. And one thing that was interesting is like, it's like you facilitate a class, you're always facilitating for yourself as well. That's the magic of facilitation. And you are going to have information that are going to come of what's not working in your world that you would like to change. But also you're going to expose all these energies of where it's also not working in the rest of the world. So if you guys have been kind of like perceiving with your body some intensity and some tightness, or just stuff's going on in your world, first, what if that's the voice of your body sharing information with you of what's out there right now, what the possibilities are out there for you to choose and change, and what contribution you and your knowing can be to having greater possibilities on the planet. Because that's the thing, our bodies are so magical. They're so full of like information and awareness, but they also guide you. You know, they guide you, don't go down the street right now. They guide you, go here. Yesterday was so funny. I ended up taking the train home last night instead of today. And I had a much better seat if I was coming home today than I got yesterday. And it would have been so easy for me to judge the train and blah, blah, blah. And I just kept asking, like, what choice can what can I choose today that will create greater consciousness, which is what Gary shared with us in that leader call. And I was like, wow, it actually was. And it was for me to sit exactly where I sat. And this gentleman was sitting next to me, and it turned out we started to talk, as I do with everyone. We started to talk, and he's starting to see someone in New York, and he was going into all this, like, they've seen each other 3 times, and it's so much fun. And he started going into this emotion of like, oh, you know, I'm not sure if I can still see her. She lives there. I live here. Like, he was starting in his head to have it all figured out for the rest of their lives. And I said to him, I said, you know what? What if you didn't have to have it all figured out? Peter and I, we dated long distance for 3 years, and it was great. We didn't even have most of the fighting and problems most people have, because we were like, the time we had together and the conversation time we had together, because we both were executives and busy, like, we didn't have time for the nonsense and the silliness. It just was more about nurturing and contribution and conversation and creation. So I'm wondering, like, how many of us would rather not choose something, but by choosing it, what more consciousness can it create for you and others? This conversation between me and this gentleman last night, he's 33, and, you know, all his friends are married and have kids. Like, the conversation was so beautiful, but he contributed to me. I contributed to him. And I was so aware of how much, like, these light bulbs were going on in his head of like, wow, he can have more fun in life. He didn't have to have it all figured out. He didn't have to try to marry this woman overnight. He didn't have to stop seeing her either. Like, there was all these possibilities and these awarenesses that were made available. And it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't trying to come home a little earlier to be with Peter and his body and to sit exactly where I sat. Now, I wouldn't say it was cognitive. It wasn't cognitive. I was just like, okay, if I can change my train ticket to come earlier, what will that create in my world and Peter's world and the world? Okay, oh my God, that's super expansive. I'm going to choose that. You know, so what about you guys? Are you willing to ask that? Like, what is going to create greater for you and your body and your voice? And by the way, your voice is not just your vocal cords, okay? And that's what I love about Right Voice for You, is that your silence is actually your voice. Your body language is your voice. And I'm combining Right Voice and Right Body together. On Wednesday, I'm having a free Zoom. It's a 1-hour Zoom. And it's called The Voice of Your Body. And it is because like so many of us, like one, we don't even pay attention to our body. It's like, okay, my body is something, I put clothes on it, I feed it, you know, go to a restaurant and eat. No, your body is so much more than that. It's your best friend. It gets to not just hang out with you, it creates with you. If you're willing to actually allow your body to communicate and be in communion with you and the earth and your business and your creations, just imagine like the possibilities that that can create. So I'm wondering, you guys, adding interesting point of view to your day with your body and with your voice, what can that create? And if you want to come join me on my free Zoom, you just have to sign up. Oh, there it is. Thank you. You could just click on it and then you'll automatically get the download of the free Zoom information and you're ready to rock and roll and come play. And if you would like to come play with the relationship class, you could do that too. It's $99 and we start on Wednesday and it's going to be 7 days. And if you can't make it live, the lives will be waiting for you whenever you're ready. Ah, there's some of my beauty friends just joined as well. All right, you guys. Well, I just wanted to share, I don't know, this whole interesting point of view in our bodies, like our voice. And, you know, I would like to invite you guys just to pay attention also to what your body is sharing with you. Like I was talking to Dagmara and Fo and Sabina today, and we started to ask questions of like, what would I like to create? And I was like, let's talk to the business. Like, what does the business desire to create and put out there? And we got that it actually desires to do this, grow your business. And we're going to do sessions, we're going to do a roundtable. And then what actually came up when we started to ask, like, what would be fun was Cyprus. So we're going to come in September 12th, 13th. We're going to create something in Cyprus. We're not sure yet what. But it got me so excited. But it was like my whole body got excited with it, you know? And then we talked about cars. You guys know how much I love fast cars. And like the September class in Germany, turns out we're 20 minutes away from the Formula One racetrack. And I've raced Formula 3s before, but not Formula 1s because, you know, they're professional, blah, blah, blah. But like that got me excited too. So like, my body is talking to me continuously. And it is the voice of my body sharing information. So like when you are that excited, when you have that enthusiasm, what can you choose and create with that? Like, would you be willing to like forget everything you learned you had to do and start to actually tap into your body and let your body guide you? Because when I'm that excited or that enthusiastic with my body, like nothing can ever go wrong. Nothing can fail. If anything, now my body and I, in partnership with my friends that we're creating this party with, this new party with, like we're putting that out in the world. And that will be an invitation for others. So I know you guys already do this, but what if you were actually willing to pay more attention to what the voice of your body is sharing with you and how you and that communion with your body and the earth, like what else is possible for you to be, do, choose, perceive, receive, and have that you've never even considered? And if you actually were willing to just try it, what else could you add to your life and living today? What else could you add to consciousness today? So I'll leave you on that note and wonder how much fun you guys are going to have with your bodies today. And if you didn't have to fix everyone else's problems, everyone else's pain and suffering, their lacks and limitations, how much more ease would that be for you and your body? And instead, would you be willing to just have no point of view and be an interesting point of view and contribute to everything and everyone with no expectation of anything in return, and just put that contribution out in the world. And anyone who desires it and requires it, they now have the choice to choose it. So, thank you so much. I adore you guys. Awesome. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.